You can learn everything you need to know about what's truly going on inside the Cleveland Browns organization from the moment that recently went viral on all social media platforms. It was the vindication moment for General Manager Andrew Berry, who received a lot of criticism for selecting Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. After the historic debut victory, he was seen on camera approaching his quarterback. And now, everyone in the football world is talking about what happened. This was neither a business congratulations nor a formal handshake. This was real pride, real emotion, and the relief of a man who had just seen his contentious choice be supported in the most visible manner imaginable.
Shedeur he's a very impressive young man. He's poised, he's calm, he's smart. You can tell that he's been raised by, really quite honestly, a Hall of Fame dad.
Andrew Berry smiled broadly and asked Shedeur, "How does it feel, bro?" And Shedeur's answer was just right. What more could you ask a young quarterback who just made history? Yes, shave more than I lost. We got a lot to improve on, man, but made some tackles today. A true professional will respond with humility and focus while acknowledging the accomplishment. Additionally, Berry's response to his quarterback, his manner of approaching him, and the sincere joy in his voice all demonstrate how much he cares about Shedeur's success and how much this particular moment meant to him personally. In order to understand why this moment went viral and why it is so important, it is imperative that we discuss Andrew Berry's situation. The general manager, Andrew Berry, made the contentious choice to select Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. He was criticized by reporters who questioned the selection. Shedeur had to contend with doubters who argued that he wasn't deserving of a roster spot.
I don't know where that report came from. That's not a request that we made. That being said, I want to be clear, that would have no bearing in terms, whether he participated or not, that has no bearing in terms of how we think of it, but I don't know where that came from.
Managing organizational politics and pressure from individuals with differing opinions about the quarterback the Browns should target was something he had to do. And all the while, Berry had faith in Shedeur, stood up for him, and eventually got his man on the field. Now that Shedeur has just ended a 17-game losing streak that had become a franchise embarrassment, won his first start as a rookie quarterback in 30 years, amassed over 200 yards, and demonstrated the poise and playmaking ability that initially led Berry to believe in him, the general manager gets his chance. It is vindication. This serves as confirmation. Whatever the skeptics may say, this demonstrates that Andrew Berry was right to choose Shedeur Sanders. This clip's viral success illustrates how little people have access to real-life professional sports moments. We're accustomed to seeing carefully planned press conferences and interactions between players and executives. However, this moment with Shedeur and Berry was genuine. The feeling was sincere. Berry's voice and body language were unmistakably proud. The clip was shared millions of times on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms by people who responded to its authenticity because it seemed more like a real human moment than corporate sports theater. The story becomes even more intriguing and contentious at this point. The game ball was not given to Shedeur Sanders following his historic first-ever victory. You can hardly believe that, so let me say it again. The game ball was not given to the quarterback who just ended a 30-year drought, who made his first start after 17 other rookie quarterbacks in the Browns had failed, who amassed over 200 yards and made incredible plays throughout the game. Rather, it went to defensive end Myles Garrett, who had 3 sacks during the resounding win. Now let's be clear before we proceed. For his outstanding performance, Myles Garrett is deserving of praise. His 3 sacks is an incredible output, and he has been one of Cleveland's few bright spots during their difficult times. The entire defense was outstanding. They shut down the Raiders' offense and recorded 10 total sacks. The victory depended heavily on Garrett's defensive dominance and individual brilliance, and no one is attempting to deprive him of that. However, this is what is upsetting people. Because of what Shedeur achieved, this was a landmark moment for the franchise. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of ending that rookie quarterback debut losing streak. This was the plot that shaped the game and captured the attention of the whole football community. When people reflect on Shedeur's career in the future, this accomplishment will be recalled. And it feels like a huge oversight at best and a calculated slight at worst for the coaching staff to ignore that with the game ball. To those outside the locker room, the choice of who gets the game ball may seem insignificant, but it has significant cultural implications. This gesture serves as a symbol of the organization's values and the people they feel should be honored. Whether on purpose or not, it sends a message for a rookie quarterback who just accomplished something no other Browns rookie had done in 30 years to not get that recognition. Furthermore, many people believe that Shedeur was disrespected by that decision, based on the responses that have been circulating on social media. According to his post-game remarks, Myles Garrett is a sophisticated veteran who recognizes the importance of what transpired. He talked about how it was to watch all of his teammates make plays and get sacks. He said he expected himself to break the franchise sack record. The last part is telling. For Garrett, this was just another outstanding game in a string of strong performances throughout his career. Shedeur, however, saw this as a pivotal moment in his career, a historic accomplishment, and a turning point for the franchise as a whole. Deion Sanders and Shedeur had an incredibly lovely and poignant moment right after the game. Waiting for his son in the tunnel was prime time, and the pride and emotion on both of their faces were evident when they connected. This was a father witnessing his son accomplish something exceptional, triumph over hardship, and disprove skeptics on the grandest stage. In order to give people room for that private moment, security had to back them up, and everyone's admiration for them attests to how important this accomplishment was. When you consider the ramifications, Shedeur's remarks regarding completing all of this in just 1 week of practice are truly explosive. He mentioned practicing for a week. Do you understand what I mean? This victory is astounding. It's fantastic. After just 1 week of practice, do you understand what I mean? Consider what an entire off-season might look like. It's only a week of practice, but it can get risky. That's not merely being modest or discounting his accomplishment. That is Shedeur's tactful way of pointing out the Cleveland Browns' poor quarterback situation management. There, consider what he's actually saying. After just 1 week of first-team practice reps, he won his first start, made history, gained over 200 yards, and made incredible plays during the game. During training camp, he wasn't running with the starters. With the offensive strategy centered around him, he wasn't getting the most preparation time possible. In spite of being thrown into this circumstance with little warning, he achieved great success. With the entire offensive scheme built around his strengths and his receivers' timing and chemistry established, just think of what he could accomplish with a full offseason. It gets dangerous, to put it mildly. With that remark, Shedeur is expressing his opinion that the Browns have been squandering time by delaying this chance without openly criticizing the coaching staff or front office. How would he and the offense have improved if he had been the guy from the start, given that he can accomplish this much in just 1 week of practice? If Cleveland had implemented this change earlier in the season, how many games might they have won? Kevin Stefanski and the coaching staff are uncomfortable with these questions, and Shear simply blasted them in the most tactful, professional manner imaginable. This performance has intensified the criticism of Kevin Stefanski's management of the quarterback situation. Analysts and fans are wondering why it took so long to take the field. They want to know why, if he was capable of this level of play, he wasn't receiving first-team reps during training camp. They want to know if the coaching staff didn't make the obvious move sooner because of organizational politics or adherence to past decisions. And after witnessing Shedeur's success in spite of his lack of preparation, those questions are now more pertinent and loud than before. This debut simply strengthened Andrew Berry's standing within the company. This performance clearly responds to any questions or concerns regarding his talent evaluation or job security. When other teams consistently passed on Shedeur, Berry decided that he was someone worth drafting in the 5th round. He supported getting him on the field and fought to get him on the roster. Additionally, his quarterback just demonstrated his ability to play at this level, making history. That's precisely what a general manager is meant to accomplish. Find talent that is underappreciated and position it for success. Stefanski's job security is starting to stand out from Barry's. Barry seems like a genius for Shedeur's draft. Stefanski appears dubious for not using him sooner and for the contentious choice to deny him the ball following a historic performance. Stefanski would have faced severe criticism if Cleveland had lost this game. However, there are still valid concerns regarding his judgment and whether he is making the most of the players on his roster, even in a win. Shedeur's remark that "someone called me Junior" during his talk with Barry is intriguing because it demonstrates how people are already beginning to draw comparisons between him and his father. There is a lot of pressure and expectations when you're Deion Sanders' son and you're called Junior. However, Shedeur has repeatedly demonstrated that he doesn't flee from that pressure or comparison. He accepts it, draws inspiration from it, and then goes out to perform in ways that both respect his father's legacy and forge his own identity. Shedeur is obviously surrounded by a strong support network, which is crucial for a young quarterback's growth. He receives advice and insight from his father, who has spent decades competing at the top levels of professional sports. Andrew Barry, who fought to get him to Cleveland, is his general manager and believes in him. He can handle the difficulties of NFL life with the support of veteran teammates like Myles Garrett. Additionally, his fan base is eager for quarterback stability and is prepared to help him get through the growing pains that come with developing a young signal caller. The game ball controversy has received a resoundingly positive response on social media. Supporters are upset that he wasn't given that acknowledgement. Former athletes are contesting the choice. Experts are discussing whether it indicates more serious problems with the coaching staff's perception of Shedeur. Giving Shedeur the game ball and allowing him to have his moment would have prevented the awkward situation the Browns organization is in, but the conversation has taken on a life of its own. Nobody should minimize that moment or that feeling, as Myles Garrett's statement that he had Andrew watching over me today is a heartfelt homage to a teammate who passed away. Sports culture places a high value on remembering departed teammates. However, that doesn't negate the fact that Shedeur's historic accomplishment also merited praise, and honoring both the quarterback's breakthrough performance and the defensive dominance is not mutually exclusive. What Cleveland does with the quarterback situation going forward is the question. Do they intend to keep Shedeur as the starting quarterback for the rest of the season? When he's well, do they switch back to the former starter? Shedeur's actual on-field performance and the momentum and energy he brought to the team make a strong case for keeping him in the starting lineup. But sometimes teams are unable to make the obvious decision because of organizational inertia and adherence to past decisions. If the Browns don't have Shedeur as their permanent starter, his remark about picturing what a full offseason would be like will come back to haunt them. With the right preparation and a chance, he simply told them and everyone else watching that he could be even better. That quote will be used repeatedly as proof that Cleveland had the solution but were unwilling to commit to it if they don't give him that chance and he ends up succeeding elsewhere, or if the Browns continue to struggle at quarterback. People's desire to see the Browns succeed is demonstrated by how widely shared Andrew Barry's moment with Shedeur is. Despite being the subject of innumerable jokes and decades of dysfunction and disappointment, there is still a great deal of sympathy for Cleveland and sincere hope that they can make things better. People are inspired to believe that this might be the start of something extraordinary when they witness the general manager and his quarterback share that genuine moment of celebration following a historic victory. For someone his age, Shedeur's emotional intelligence in his post-game remarks is astounding. He gave his coaches and teammates credit. "There is still room for improvement and more work to be done," he admitted. He made the subtle point that he should be given more opportunities while remaining modest. It's challenging to find that balance. Additionally, his ability to handle it demonstrates maturity and media savvy, both of which will benefit him in the long run. Cleveland's coaching staff is under tremendous pressure to keep giving Shedeur chances. The fans desire it. The press is advocating for it. It is evident that the general manager has faith in him. Above all, Shedeur just demonstrated that he is capable of managing the situation and performing at this level. Every segment of Brown's fan base will be furious if Stefanski and his staff attempt to restore the previous quarterback hierarchy following this performance. And so we are. With the quarterback he battled to draft, Andrew Berry recently had his moment of vindication. Although he didn't get the game ball, Shedeur Sanders made history. What Cleveland should do next is a topic of discussion among all football fans. And a fifth-round pick, who many believed wasn't fit for the NFL, just showed that he's the quarterback the Browns have been frantically looking for more than 30 years. How do you feel about Andrew Berry's touching exchange with Shedeur following the momentous victory? Did Shedeur make a mistake by not receiving the game ball after his debut? Based on your observations, do you think the Browns should give him the starting position going forward? To what extent did Shedeur's remark about only having a week of practice matter? I would love to hear your opinions on this amazing tale, so please share your thoughts in the comments. You obviously care about this story and want to keep up with every step of Shedeur's journey if you've read this far. When we release new content about the Browns and Shedeur's career, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss any updates. Please give this video a thumbs up if you think Andrew Berry was right to draft Shedeur, and if you think he deserved the game ball. This is a moment that Browns fans have been waiting for their entire lives, so share it with your friends. History has been written, the drought is over, and the real story is just getting started. Until the next time, continue to watch, maintain your faith, and return for more amazing content.